Hi, welcome to a recap of our recent webinar called How to Get Started with Dean Vaughn. Here's what we will discuss today. First, we will mention instructor account setup. Next, we will discuss the difference between sections and course offerings. Then we will cover student enrollment. Then we'll talk about your content tab. We'll also mention your calendar tab. We will briefly discuss quiz settings, and we will go through some Dean Vaughn support resources. First, let's talk about instructor enrollment. So this is how you will get access to your Dean Vaughn instructor account. Our customer service will get instructor information from purchasers. We will need your first name, last name, and email address in order to create your account. Instructors will then get an enrollment email or welcome email from us containing their login information as well as some additional onboarding information. When you get access to your instructor account, you should log in, add a profile photo, and customize your profile. You should also set a time zone in your account settings. Here's how you can do that. So this is your instructor dashboard. If you go to account settings, you should scroll all the way down to time zone to customize your time zone settings. This is important because it will affect your calendar settings as well. Next, we'll talk about a new course offering versus a new section. New instructors and people who have taught multiple Dean Vaughn courses over the years, people who are teaching multiple groups, will either need a new course or a new section within an existing course. So there are two options. First is a new course setting or a course offering, which keeps old and new student groups completely separate from each other, gives you the option to set up content visibility separately. The second option is a new section within an existing course. Both sections, or all sections if there are multiple, can see the same content at the same time. Instructors can toggle between sections in their class list page, their class progress page, and their grades tab. So here's a graphic to help explain this concept, sections versus course offerings. So here's an instructor dashboard. This person is teaching a midterm course and an anatomy course. Each course contains two sections. So these courses are completely separate. Students enrolled into each of these courses will have access to separate content visibility, but students that are enrolled into each of these sections, say you have section 1 and 2 in the midterm course, section 1 and 2 in the anatomy course, those students will see the exact same content at the exact same time. Students and instructors can see all the courses they are enrolled in their dashboards, and they can be in multiple courses at the same time. Sections are categories that help you differentiate between student groups. There will be two sections in your course by default. One will usually be called section, the other one archive, but you can create multiple sections. You can also move students from one section to another. There's also a video on that called Do I Need a New Course or Section? So you can click the link in the PDF handout we will send you, or go to our Instructor Help Center to access this video if you want more information on the difference between sections and course offerings. Next, when you get access to your instructor account, you can also enroll other instructors. You can do that manually by going to Course Admin, Class List, Add Participants, Create and Enroll a New User. You should fill in the required information, select Dean Vaughn Instructor as the role, and then click Enroll. And once you've enrolled a new teacher, please make sure to share their login information with them. So here's a short video on that. You should go to Course Admin, Class List, Add Participants, Create and Enroll a New User, fill in the required information, first name, last name, email address, make sure you're using a correct, valid email. From there, you should also select Dean Vaughn Instructor as the role. You should set up a password. And you should also select a section that you would like to enroll this teacher into. This is just a formality because teachers or instructors will be automatically enrolled in all sections. and then you should click on enroll. Next, let's talk about student enrollment. This is for teachers who have access to Brightspace, and they also need to enroll their students into Brightspace directly. So if you purchased access to the online course and flashcard app, or if you are using an integration with a third-party LMS like Canvas or Blackboard or whatever, this does not apply to you. This is only process that applies to teachers who are trying to enroll students into D2L or Brightspace. So D2L and Brightspace are two different names for the same LMS, which is the LMS we use to host Dean Vaughn courses. There are several ways you can enroll your students. First, you can enroll students manually in your class list page by using the Create and Enroll option. Next, you can use a bulk enrollment spreadsheet. So this is an option for teachers who are trying to enroll multiple students or they want to enroll a large student group. And finally, you can add existing users. For example, if a student is enrolled into another Dean Vaughn course you're teaching or another teacher's course, and you want to give them the option to access both courses using a single set of login credentials, you can use the Add Existing Users option. For errors and removal, please contact dvsupport@petersons.com. So here's how you can create and enroll a new user, or in other words, manually enroll a student. So the first thing you do is you go to Course Admin, Class List, Add Participants, create and enroll a new user. Then enter the student's information, first name, last name, email address. Select a role. It should always be Dean Vaughn Learner if you are enrolling a student. Create a password. Select a section you want to enroll them into, and then click Enroll when you are ready. Bulk enrollment is slightly more complicated, and it's usually a good idea if you need to enroll a larger student group. For example, if you need to enroll 50, 100, 300 students, it would take you a very long time to do it manually, so that's why we have a bulk enrollment option. You can find a step-by-step guide on bulk enrollment here on this link. And here we will go through a video that will shortly and briefly explain how you can fill out a bulk enrollment spreadsheet as an Excel file or a Google Sheet and then enroll your students. So this is what you're supposed to do. You should create an Excel document or a Google Sheet document. Make sure to include the following information for each of your students. So first name, last name, password, username, email address, section, and role. These are required fields, and they also need to be in that order. So in this case, we have 5 students we're trying to enroll. We make sure to include all their information here. So first name, last name, password, username, email address. Make sure it's valid. And then we also need a section code. A section code refers to a section within your course. If you're not sure what your section code is, you should go to Course Admin and then to Sections. Click on a section you would like to enroll this student into, copy the section code, go back to your enrollment spreadsheet, and then paste that section code under section. Make sure all these section codes are the same if you want to enroll the entire student group into a single section. Next, you should make sure you have the correct role. So This client ID number is an identifier that helps Brightspace attribute this student account to your school. You can always check what your client ID number is by going back to your course admin, class list, and you will see this client ID number if you look at your role. So if you go to class list and under role, you will see your role is going to be Dean Vaughn Instructor 5161 something. And then just make sure to go back to your spreadsheet and then also include Dean Vaughn Learner and add that number to your student's role. When you're done, download as a CSV file. Then go back to your course admin class list, import users from a file, then upload the file. Click on import. And this will enroll your students into your course. You will see a confirmation of enrollment. If there are any issues with your upload, if Brightspace has been unable to create some student accounts, you will see an error message at the top of the page. In this case, everything is fine, but in some cases there can be issues. For example, if your student has an apostrophe in their first or last name, Brightspace will be unable to create their account. So you should go back to your spreadsheet, remove the apostrophe, or just add the student manually without the apostrophe in their name in order to enroll them. Okay. You can also add existing users. Existing D2L accounts can be added to your new course as long as their account belongs to your organization, meaning your school district, or other campuses, other teachers, etc. So as long as these students have an account and they're enrolled in one of your colleagues' courses and that they belong to the same school, you will be able to enroll them as existing users. Here's how you can do that. So go to one of your courses. For example, if you want to include one of the students from your Foundations of Health Science Dean Vaughn course, you want to enroll them into your medical terminology course, you would go to your Foundations of Health Science class list page, copy their username, then go back to your home page, select another one of your courses, in this case medical terminology, go back to course admin, go to class list, and then click on add participants, add existing users. You should paste this student's username, click the search button to find them. From there, you should click on the box next to their name, select their role as Dean Vaughn Learner, select a section, and then click on enroll selected users. So this will give this student the ability to log in to all their accounts and see all their courses using a single set of credentials. So they will just log into their student account and they will see all their courses under My Courses. This is practical for them, and it's also practical for you because it prevents you from duplicating student accounts. Once you've enrolled your students, you can also send them an enrollment email. So here's how you would do that. You would go back to course admin class list, select the students you wish to email by checking a box next to their names. You should click on the email icon on top of your class list. When a new window opens, you should edit the subject line and the body of the email, and then click on send. So here's what that looks like. Course admin. From there, we click on class list. We find the students we wish to email, or you can just select an entire class. Then click on the email button. This will open a new page for you. You should edit the subject line. It can be something along the lines of login. Then you should also edit the body of the email. And finally, you should click the button to send the email. Next, let's talk about how you can reset passwords. There are two main ways you can reset your students' passwords from your class list page. The first one is to manually set their password. So you would go to class list, change account settings. And the second option would be to send your student a password reset link so they can reset their password themselves. In that case, you would go to class list, email password reset link. So here's how you can manually reset your student's password. You would go to course admin class list, find a student, check the box next to their name, open the drop-down menu, click on change account settings, click on reset, and enter a new password. Then you can just click save, and that will reset the student's password. Of course, you should contact them to let them know that you've reset their password. So here's how you can send a reset password link. Again, you would go to course admin, then to, so in this case, you would go to course admin, you would proceed to class list, check the box next to the student's name, then you should click on the down arrow next to their name to open the drop-down menu. And from there, you should select email password reset link. And then confirm. And this will send your student a reset password link. Student enrollment for schools and teachers who purchased access to a D2L online course as well as the flashcard app. This process will be somewhat different than the one that we previously explained. So for teachers who only purchased access to a Brightspace online course. So in this case, if your school purchased access to the online course as well as the flashcard app, we will enroll you as an instructor. So DV support will create your course and account, and we will contact you with onboarding information. We will also request that you send us your class list, so a list of first names, last names, and email addresses that we will use to enroll your students on the back end. So if you ordered online licenses as well as flashcard app licenses, you will not need to enroll your students. We will do it for you. Once students have been enrolled, they will receive an automated system email from us prompting them to set their password and log into the online course as well as the flashcard app. Once students have been enrolled, they will need to set their initial password themselves and then log into the online course. The onboarding email you will receive from us, or Dean Vaughn support, will also contain a list of email addresses that you will need to share with your tech team and make sure that they're whitelisted before we can enroll your students. Just in case your school or organization tends to block third-party emails, you will just need to make sure to double check and ensure that these email addresses are whitelisted so that we can enroll your students. But you will receive that list of emails in the onboarding message you get from us upon enrollment. Once students have set their password, and once they've been able to log into the online course, they will also be able to download the flashcard app, and they can also log in using the same set of login credentials, meaning the same email address and password. Unlike students who only got access to the online course in Brightspace, students who have access to the online course and flashcard app will need to log in on our website, not into Brightspace. So that will be deanvaughn.com/login. To access the online course, and then they will need to download the flashcard app and log in using the same email address and password they used to access the online course. So here's what that process looks like for them. This is what that initial system email looks like, and how your students can set their password and log into the online course. So this is an example of the Welcome to Dean Vaughn email your students will receive from us. This email will contain the following information. Hi, you've been enrolled in your Dean Vaughn course. To access your course, you will first need to set your password at this link. And then they have a password reset button. They should click this button to set their initial password and log in. From there, it also says, moving forward, you'll access your course on deanvaughn.com. Your username will always be your email address. You also get access to your medical terminology flashcard app. Use your same login email and password for the app. You can download the app from the App Store or Google Play. There are also links. and start studying. So your students have the information they need to access their online course in the flashcard app. They also have a link to our login page. And the first thing they should do is, of course, set their initial password so they can log in. So when they click that link, they'll be taken to this page, which is create a password. Their email address will automatically appear in at the top of this page. So their email address, in this case, DV app user, will kind of auto-populate. They will need to set a password and re-enter their password. A password should be 8 characters minimum. And they also need to make sure that both passwords match. Each set password link can only be used once. So if students forget their passwords, they should not try to click the same link they clicked to set their password initially. They should go to deanvaughn.com, login, and from there they should select the forgot your password option. So now that they've entered all this information, they should click on create a password, which will take them to our login page. So the first thing they need to do is re-enter their password, their email address. They should re-enter their email address here at the top. Then they should re-enter the password they just created and then click on login. Like I said, if they're not sure what their password is, they manage to set it once and they access the course and now they can't remember what their password is, they should go back to deanvaughn.com/login. This will take them to this page, and from there they should click on forgot your password to request a new reset password link. In this case, this student is only setting up their password for the first time, so they should re-enter their email address, the password they just created, and click on login. Once they've logged in, they will see their name in the upper right corner. There will also be an option here in the right corner to say log out, that says log out. So that's an indication that they've managed to log in. And once they've logged in, they should click on access courses to go to their course. So this will log them in and they will see all their courses under My Courses. Now, while students can see both their online course and their flashcard app course in Brightspace, they should definitely download the flashcard app in order to access the flashcard app course. So basically what they should do, once they've managed to set their initial password, they should either go back to their onboarding email and then click on the links to download the app to their phones, or they can go to our website, open this QR code image, and scan it to download the app. From there, they should just click on login and then log in using their account email address and their password. Next, let's talk about your content tab. So a question we get quite a lot from teachers is, how can I assign content to my students? The answer is very simple, or all course content is preloaded. There's no need to assign anything basically, but you can hide and show course content in order to pace your course and make sure your students don't work ahead. There are two main ways to do that. You can do it manually in your content tab, or you can do it automatically in your calendar tab. We will discuss both of these methods later on. So first, let's talk about your content tab show and hide options. By default, all course content is visible in your content tab. Each unit in your course includes content like videos, review activities, and quizzes. To hide a module or a video or any other smaller unit, you should just select that unit in your content tab on the left-hand side and then click the toggle button. And then you should click it again to unhide or reveal this course content. So here's what that looks like for you. Hide content manually, go to course admin content. So from there, you will see all your modules on the left-hand side. And in order to hide a module and make it unavailable to your students, you just need to select a module and click the toggle button to hide it. To make the module visible again, you should just select it again and then click on the toggle button all over again just to make sure it's visible. So that's how you hide and reveal content manually. Whenever you hide a module or any other piece of content in your course, it will become unavailable to your students. So when they log in and go to their content tab, they won't see the content you hid. Okay. So your calendar tab is a place where you can automate content visibility, where you can schedule content visibility days, weeks, or even months in advance. So you should use the calendar tab to configure content visibility in advance. So go to course admin, calendar, set dates, select a piece of content you would like to schedule, set a start date, a date when your content becomes visible. You can also set a due date or an end date. Our recommendation generally would be to keep course content visible so that students can view it and practice, but it's all up to you ultimately. So your calendar tab, go to course admin, calendar. In your calendar tab, you can look at your scheduled content by day, by week, or by month. So you should click on set dates, select a module, and then you can set, for example, a start date for module 2 in this case, a start date and a start time. This will mark the date and the time when module 2 becomes available to your students. So in this case, if we selected August 30th at 7 a.m., that means that your students will be unable to see module 2 until August 30th at 7 a.m. As we mentioned earlier, you will need to set your time zone in your instructor account settings so that your time zone matches your actual real life time zone. So your Brightspace settings need to match your real life time zone just to make sure that your students actually can't see content at 7 a.m. your local time. By default, your account time zone will be set to Denver time, but you should make sure to always set up your real life time zone in your account settings just so that it doesn't mess up your calendar tab settings. Moving on, you can also edit dates. Whenever you set a date, you can also click on edit to change it. You can also delete a calendar event. So you can do this for any module. You can do it for different pieces of content like a quiz. You can go back and forth to view different calendar settings. So in this case, if you want to schedule content visibility for a specific test, you can go to quizzes, expand it, and select a quiz from the list. And from there, for example, you can set a due date as well. So in this case, we would select September 3rd at 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. and click save. So the difference between an end date and a due date in your calendar settings is that a due date does not end content visibility. So if you set a due date for your quiz, your students will be able to see the quiz after the due date. But if they submit a quiz attempt, if they complete a quiz after the due date, you will see a special notification. When you go to your class progress page, you will see a notification saying this attempt was submitted past the due date. However, students will still be able to access course content, in this case, a quiz, after the due date. It will just be marked as submitted past the due date. However, if you want to end content visibility entirely and make sure that a quiz is hidden after a certain date or time, you should set an end date instead of a due date. And that's pretty much how your calendar tab works. Next, let's move on to quizzes. So our online courses typically include module quizzes, a practice test, and a final exam. All quizzes are preloaded. They're linked to the grades tab. You can access quizzes if you go to course admin quizzes. So there are a couple of things you can hide and actually modify when it comes to quizzes. One of them is that you can hide quizzes from your students. If you want to hide a quiz so students can't take it ahead of time, you can go to your content tab and then hide a quiz using the toggle button as discussed previously. You can also go to your calendar page and then click a button to hide using set dates. You can also go to your quizzes page, and there are two ways you can hide a quiz in your quizzes page. One is to go to course admin quizzes, select all, then bulk edit, hide, and save. Or you can do it individually by going to your quizzes page, course admin quizzes, select a specific quiz, edit, and then use the toggle button at the bottom of the page to hide your quiz. So here are some videos. So go to course admin quizzes, then select a specific quiz from the menu here. You would, for example, select medical terminology, check the box next to the quiz name. Click on More Actions, expand the menu, and then click on Hide. As you can see, this quiz is now hidden. So to make it visible again, you would select it again to check the box next to the quiz name, go up to More Actions, and then click on Make Visible to Users. And now it's visible to users all over again. You can also open the drop-down menu next to the quiz name and select, let me show you. Okay, select Hide from Users. This is another option you have to hide the test. And then you can go back and then open the drop-down menu again and then select Make Visible to Users. Or you can click on Edit. So open the drop-down menu, click on Edit, and then click on the toggle button at the bottom of the page to hide the test. To make it visible again, you should just click on the little toggle button all over again. So you can also manage this setting in bulk. You can hide those quizzes in bulk. This means that you can go to your quizzes tab, select all module quizzes, and edit different properties, including content visibility, and it saves you time because you don't have to do it individually. So here's how you would do that. Course admin, quizzes, select all quizzes from the list, and then click on bulk edit. And there you can just check the little box here under hide from users to hide these quizzes. So you can just check multiple boxes to hide quizzes and then click on save, and that will hide multiple quizzes and save you some time because you don't have to do it manually and individually for each of these quizzes. You can also set the number of attempts allowed per test. By default, students can take quizzes an unlimited number of times. However, since you're the teacher, you can decide if you want to limit that number of attempts. So here's how you can do that. You can limit the number of attempts individually, or you can bulk edit this option as well. So here's one of the options, how you can do that. So we would go to course admin, quizzes. Would select a quiz from the list and then click on edit. From the drop-down menu, you would select edit. And there on the right-hand side, you have attempts and completion. You would open that tab and then go to manage attempts. And there you would, under attempts allowed, select a number that's 1 to 10 to limit the number of attempts allowed per quiz, and then click OK to save changes. Once again, course admin, quizzes. Found a quiz, open the drop-down menu, click on edit. Then you would go to attempts and completion, manage attempts, and then under attempts allowed, you would select a number and click OK. So that's how you could do it individually. And this is how you can do it in bulk. So course admin, quizzes, You can select all quizzes from the list and then click on the bulk edit button. And there, under attempts allowed, you can change the number of attempts allowed for multiple quizzes or for all quizzes in your course. Again, this is a quicker way to do this instead of going into each of these quizzes individually. There's another thing you can edit when it comes to quizzes, which is overall grade calculation. By default, this option will be set to highest attempt. Now, what does overall grade calculation means? It's kind of self-explanatory, but just in case you're not sure what it means. Basically, let's say you selected a single medical terminology quiz, a specific quiz, and you decided to give your students 3 tries. So they have 3 attempts and they could take the quiz 3 times. The overall grade calculation setting for this quiz will decide which of these attempts counts towards the final grade for that quiz. So it can be the highest attempt. So their highest score is their final grade for that quiz. It can be the lowest attempt. Let's say the lowest of these 3 attempts, lowest grade counts towards the final grade or is the final grade. You can have the average of all attempts. There's also first attempt and last attempt. So by default, the setting will be highest attempt for Dean Vaughn quizzes, but of course you can also change that for each individual quiz. So to change overall grade calculation, you would go to Course Admin, Quizzes, find the quiz, and then from the drop-down menu, select Edit, Attempts and Completion, Manage Attempts, Overall Grade Calculation, and then click OK. Here's what that looks like. So first we go to Course Admin, then Quizzes. Then we find a quiz in your list. Open the drop-down menu, select Edit. This will take you to your specific quiz settings. Then open the Attempts and Completion tab. Click on Manage Attempts. And then under Overall Grade Calculation, you can choose one of the options, the options are highest attempt, lowest, average of all attempts, first attempt, or last attempt. Once you've made your choice, you can just click on OK. So that's how that works. Our recommended quiz settings, these are just our recommendations. Visibility, don't hide quizzes. Make sure they're always visible so students can practice. Attempts allowed, keep them at unlimited. Overall grade calculation, highest grade, allows your students to take the quiz multiple times, use it to practice. First attempt, if you want to get an accurate assessment of a student's understanding of course content, but you want to give them a chance to practice for the final test. So those would be our recommendations. And this leads us to the conclusion of this presentation, where we would like to share some support resources with you. So our Dean Vaughn support resources, the most important one is our Help Center, which includes support articles, how-to videos in longer and shorter form, graphics to help explain concepts, links to all relevant videos, and of course our onboarding emails for instructors, which contain links to our Help Center, and our support email address, which is dvsupport@petersons.com. And thank you for your attention. If you have any questions after this presentation, if we left anything out, if you'd like to learn more about a topic, please email us at dvsupport@petersons.com.